I'm gonna do that one day, Denver. It could be years.
Someday.
Could be months, could be weeks.
It could be today.
Oh, it could be today.
It could be today.
What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm here with my friend Ben Hadden. Good golf.
I am his friend.
That meant a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm going through my range session. I'm gonna talk to him about what I think about and kind of my process, and I am looking forward to his instruction on ways that I can improve.
Or you're perfect, and I won't have to instruct you at all.
I didn't even pay him to say that. Let's do it.
Or, I said or. I didn't say that was what was going to happen.
Did you cut the camera before you said that? I hope you did. I like to start with, obviously, a wedge, just to kind of get things going.
Sure.
I've just got a new 54, 58, and a 50.
Great.
I've been starting with my 50 degree.
Okay, interesting. Why do you start with the 50?
I was going to ask you why it was interesting.
I usually just start with the lowest club in my bag.
The lowest club? So like highest lofted?
Yeah.
What's your thought behind that, just because?
Well, for me, I mean, not to brag, but
Say it.
I hit that club a lot.
Okay.
The shortest club in my bag, I hit it quite a bit, so I'm going to start with it.
Okay.
But I usually just hit like I usually just hit like 3-4 balls with each one of my wedges.
Okay.
So like 3-4 balls with so 12 total here, and then I jump straight to the driver.
So I've seen that video where it's like you hit the driver, because realistically when you play golf around the course, you go driver wedge. If you can hit it like you can, you go driver wedge.
Or driver iron of any sort. It just kind of builds in that. But the reason I don't just go like lob wedge driver is because I kind of want to work into ball striking a little bit more than just like lob wedge drive. That feels a little bit egregious to me.
Okay.
But my other question is going to be, what are you doing to warm up before you get here?
So when I get here, what I'll do is I got to stretch my body. Not young like it used to be. I can't just get up there and swing anymore. So I do a few little turns, pull these guys. Okay. And occasionally I'll drop it.
Is that all the mobility you have right there?
What do you mean? With like going backwards?
You just went like this. You're like, I do a couple of these. I do like one of these.
I don't have a body. I don't have a great body.
Okay. Oh. Ooh, yeah. I would start working these in there. Like getting a little bit more adventurous.
I think I need a longer club. My arms.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, grab like a 7-iron or something.
Let's try.
Loosen those shoulders up a little bit more and activate. We're trying to activate here. We're not just trying to get loose.
Activate the body.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how you keep both arms straight.
You don't have to. You could also do one of these.
That's disgusting.
I don't think that's that gross.
Nope.
You can't do it? Okay. All right.
But well, no. This is good because I need to do it if I'm going to play golf, sustainably over the period of my life. I need more flexible,
of course,
and treat my body better.
Another one I'd recommend is instead of just taking the club and going like this, you can try putting it behind your back. Yeah. Like this right here, and just kind of rotate like this a few times. Another reason I like that is because it's an activation, like we were just talking about. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, there's a pop.
Yeah. I'm not really one for before a round of golf, just like, the standard football, like everybody claps and then touch one toe. I'm not big on that because you're going to hurt yourself, I think, if you just static stretch and then go try to hit golf balls.
Okay, so static stretching, not so much. Get your body.
Good. Yeah.
Moving
so,
and grooving.
Anyway, let's pretend you're warmed up.
Okay.
Now we're going to hit a few golf balls.
Yes, we're going to hit a few golf balls.
And I see you have an alignment stick down.
I do.
How are you using that?
So I first got my alignment stick this year. I never used to hit with one, but I use it mainly for my feet. So what I've learned this summer is I'll line up my club face first with the ball with the spot a couple feet in front. That's what I use the alignment stick for. It's mainly for my feet. Make sure if I pick my target where I need it to go, that my feet are pointing where the golf ball should go. Okay. So let's actually get a target.
So you go club face and then
feet. Okay. Correct. That white flag in the middle. Set my alignment stick up, and then I'll draw a line back to my ball, pick a few feet out in front, and then I'll go club face and then feet with the stick. How's that look? Pretty line?
The only problem I have is you didn't look at the target once after you set your club face.
Oh, so look at it again and then the feet.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would always say a good general rule of thumb is if you're setting up to a golf ball, 75% of your time should be spent looking at the target. I'm guilty of not doing that as well, but I think that's the biggest mistake I see people make is they just get landlocked on the target and their spot and they forget about the ball and their spot and they forget about the target when the target is really like if you're playing baseball, are you gonna, like, if you're a pitcher, you were a pitcher, weren't you?
I mean, I threw a ball occasionally. I was an outfielder, but
got it. Okay, I thought you were a pitcher. Sorry. So if let's say you're a pitcher, we'll just pretend for a second you're a pitcher.
Let's do it.
How much time does the pitcher spend looking at home plate versus just like right here?
Oh, he's always looking at home plate.
Exactly.
That's the only place he's looking at.
Golf's the only sport in the world where you're not looking at the target. So I think you kind of got to spend as much time as you can looking at the target while you're getting into the golf shot.
Okay. Now, how often when you're hitting a shot into a green is the flag your target? You got to put a percentage on it.
Is the flag my target?
Yeah, like, are you always aiming to hit the flag? Are you looking above it?
Well,
maybe
it
some trees?
depends on how far out I am. We'll talk about that when we get on the course.
Cool.
That's, yeah,
Okay, all right.
That's actually, I think, a good conversation for later.
Perfect. All right, well, white flag, draw a line.
Yep.
Set my club head up.
Club face, target. 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 Okay. Look, and that's to be expected. We're not here to make you a better striker of the golf ball today. We're here to make you a better golfer. That means managing your golf ball.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We're teaching you how to manage.
Okay, so I would hit probably somewhere between 5 to 8 wedges, depending on if I really felt like I needed to keep going or if I felt comfortable with it, cut it short.
Sure.
And then I'll usually go 8 or 7 iron, or no, 8 or 9, excuse me, and then I'll go 5.
You want to just run through that real quick?
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you the one thing I want you to focus on here is the exact same setup every time.
Routine.
Just making sure that your setup is like, I mean, and it might mean that every time you hit a golf shot, you just real quick step behind it and then step right back in again.
Okay.
So you make sure you're finding that same setup every time you get into a golf shot, because I feel like I see too many times, again, people getting too far away, too close to the ball, maybe moving a little bit farther forward, a little back in their stance. No one's a good enough athlete to manage that.
Yeah.
Your ball position needs to be exactly the same in relation to your setup every single time.
Okay.
I noticed you did something there that I was going to ask you to do. You read my mind.
I
You got a
did?
little bit closer to it.
I have that comfortable spot where if I feel like I'm reaching,
Yeah.
my friends have made fun of me for it. I pitter-patter my feet a lot if I'm not comfortable or if I don't feel like I'm in my slot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of golfers that do that.
So I'll just be...
Patrick Cantlay, for instance, is
Yeah.
a serial feet pitter-patterer. But he's pretty good.
So I will happy feet myself around until I feel that comfortable spot, and then I'll nestle in, do my waggles. 8 iron,
You should probably get a golf ball first.
white flag.
Right?
That's why he's here.
I can't believe you just started lining up with no golf ball there.
Dude,
That's crazy.
it's a new way to do golf, Ben. Read a book, why don't you?
There you go. That setup looks really comfy. That's beautiful. That was really good.
I feel like a proud dad.
Sure do. Yeah. I would say that the thing you need to focus on is just making sure you're not standing too far away from it.
Okay.
Because I think you get kind of reachy. You already have a pretty loose golf swing, which is, you know, it's got its own benefits and drawbacks, but
Yeah.
when you have a loose golf swing, you got to stand close to it.
Now driver.
Now driver.
This is
where people really, really start reaching. So
This is also a nightmare for me, is what it is. Because the two parts of my game that I feel like are most inconsistent for me right now are off the tee
Okay.
and putting.
And those are two pretty important parts to the game.
Some would say vital.
Those are, some would say those are 1 and 2.
So the fact that 3 and 4 are my best right now should change.
Well, I mean,
It should alter.
I would encourage you to just make your driving and putting better. You know?
Okay.
I'd say it's a pretty good place to start.
There are a few things that I've seen you use tool-wise on the putting green that I'm going to ask you about, and how the everyday golfer could benefit from the things
Okay.
you might use
Sure.
to putt with.
Let's
But-
just see a couple drives.
see a couple
The
of
main thing, like what we were talking about a minute ago with setup, is no more important than right here. That tee needs to be in the same 1/4 inch square every single time, no questions asked.
Okay.
I don't care if you're trying to hit it low, high, slice it, draw it. You should be trying to hit the same exact ball flight every single time from the same exact, like the tee should go in a hole about that big.
Okay.
Every single time. There's really no way to get that done right now, but that's something that if you have some time on the range, really practice that. Just getting that tee into a small circle every single time to where you can just, like, you don't have to think about it. All you're thinking about is getting into the right setup position, and that way your swing can become grooved. You can't groove your swing if you don't have a consistent setup position.
It's a different situation every time if it's not a consistent ball placement.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And that's why in baseball, you're trying to hit it into a 45-degree triangle.
If you can hit it.
Yeah, if you can hit
Which
it.
is a struggle
because it's
for a
in a
lot of
different place every time.
Exactly.
It's very hard.
Exactly. Now T-ball.
Now,
I
T-balls.
was pretty good at T-ball.
Those kids
Okay. I'm gonna hit driver now.
should never. Why do they ever miss it? That's so embarrassing.
You know what? There's nothing worse than getting into a scrimmage in college and you tee the ball up, and sometimes we'll do it, and you go to swing and you hit the tee and the ball drops straight down.
You hit the tee, not
You
the
hit
ball.
the tee and the ball drops straight down.
You've done that before?
Let's hit the driver.
I
Sounds
don't
like a
feel
good idea.
okay. So I didn't play baseball. I feel like that shouldn't be that hard, but yeah. And again, if you took me to a baseball diamond and you put me at home plate and you put a ball and a tee in front of me, I would probably do the same thing. But as I sit here and I wrap my head around the fact that a college baseball player stepped up to a ball on a tee and didn't hit it,
Some would argue it's the hardest thing to do in sports.
When it's,
Not off a
when
tee,
it's
though.
moving, when it's moving, absolutely, I would agree with that.
Let me ask you a question about tee height.
Yeah.
All right, I've heard a million different things from a million different people on how high you should set your ball on your tee.
Yep.
How do you set up your ball on your tee?
I set it up a little lower than I think than most people.
Okay.
Because I like to hit a cut, typically a lower tee height.
Okay.
Caters to that. And I also hit it pretty high to begin with, so that kind of helps me flight it a little better, I feel like. I'm probably wrong about both those things. It's just what I like. What's more important is finding what works for you and then making it exactly the same every time.
Okay.
One thing I've seen people do, and this is mostly something I see juniors do, they will bring their driver down with them. A pretty common reference point is half of the ball should be up above the top end of the driver. So I'll see juniors come up and do one of these just to make sure it's in the same place every time. I've kind of gotten to the point now where I know that when I tee up a ball, if I want to get it to the right height, I angle my fingers like that, right there.
Okay.
And when they touch the ground, then I know that I'm far down enough. It's just because I've done it probably 5,000 times. I know that's about the height that I need to do it.
Minimum 5,000.
No, I would say 5,000. At the current height that I'm doing it, 5,000 is probably pretty accurate.
Okay. All right. Was that a year?
No, that'd be three years probably.
Okay. My numbers are bad.
Yeah. Well, 5,000 drivers, that's a whole lot.
That is a whole lot.
That's a whole lot.
So when you're at a range and they give you the rubber tee,
Yeah.
you just not hit driver that day?
Actually, sometimes the rubber tee's perfect. Okay. Usually not, and that's why you'll typically see if you're at a tournament and it's off mats, guys are just going to go onto the grass to hit driver anyway, because you got to have that tee height be consistent. I was at St. Andrews yesterday and the tee height was perfect, the rubber tee.
Okay.
And I probably hit 50 drivers because I never get to experience that.
So if I golf at St. Andrews, I should hit my driver because it's perfect height.
It's perfect height for me. You got to figure out your own height.
I'm an independent golfer. I will find myself
There you go.
independently
There you
on the
go.
golf
You wouldn't
course.
believe how many DMs I get from kids who are like, "I'm trying to copy your swing," and I'm like,
I can't copy my swing, kid.
I can point to different swings you might want to copy, but
Fair enough. Okay. I'm blind right now. I don't even know what I'm looking at. But
yeah, I don't either.
I got
This
my
is why I'd recommend we get off this range here pretty quickly. This is not a good idea. You know what that'll do, Q?
What's that?
That'll play.
That'll play?
That'll play.
Woo!
Yep.
We like playing.
I'm just saying, if you aim down like the left out of bounds line every time and just hit, I'm serious. You just know it's gonna do that.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Sometimes, some days I do hit a cut or fade, but sometimes I do have a hook to it.
But you need to, though, that's kind of what you go to the range and you just hit a bunch of drivers. Because I guarantee you, the reason you start hooking it is not because your swing changes, it's because your setup has changed. Your swing is, I mean, it'll change.
Yeah.
If you work hard on it.
And with your father.
Sorry?
And I work with your father.
That's correct. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about?
I totally just
I forgot you were getting lessons from my dad. Shout out to Larry Hadden, by the way.
Yes, Mr. Larry. Who I haven't talked to yet.
If you just make sure your driver setup is exactly the same every time.
Okay.
Typically, you know, like for instance, if I start hitting it way left, it's because I'm starting to get too far away from it. I start reaching and I throw the club out towards it. And that's when I start hitting those hooks. Mm-hmm. If I'm standing close enough, if I'm standing at the correct distance rather, I know my ball flight's not going to change a whole lot from day to day. Right. And it's kind of the same with everybody. Like your swing is going to change.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to change your swing that quickly to where you wake up one day and all of a sudden you have a crazy end-out path. Chances are you just change your setup. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Okay.
Sorry you have to edit all this down. It's going to suck.
Yeah, poor Denver, dude.
I mean, that'll work.
That'll play.
That'll play, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be about 3 yards from being out of bounds, but that'll play. You can hit it again.
Let me, how much sunlight are we gonna have to be chasing here? It sunsets at like, what, 7:45 now?
Yeah, we should probably get going.
Okay, one more, then we'll go.
I'll ask you, how would you hit a draw then for the driver?
I'm a big feel person. When I'm trying to hit a draw or hook.
Can I stop you right now?
You sure can.
The answer is you don't hit a draw or a hook with your driver. You are a cutter.
Hell yeah.
So don't hit a draw or a hook with your driver.
So don't even try to learn.
Don't even try it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like if you're ever at a point where you just straight up cannot get the ball to not cut any less than 85 yards, then yeah, I'll teach you how to hit a draw, so you can figure out how to minimize it.
All right, let's try to hit this one straight then.
Yeah, just try to hit one. That's what Scott always told me. Scott Fawcett.
Yeah.
He always tells me if you got to be able to cut it or cut it less. Okay. That's really all that matters with a driver. Can you cut it and then cut it more, and then can you cut it less?
Okay.
And that's all that matters. Being able to draw it matters almost none in modern golf. And if it does matter, just pull out a 3-wood and be able to draw it with that.
Okay.
Dude, that's gonna play all freaking day. Just aim down the left side and do that. It's that simple.
So if I got a dog leg going the opposite way.
You pull out a
Three wood.
or you lay back to the end of the dog leg and then just split the hole in half. I mean, there are some times when you have to hit a draw, in which case, you know, you're either going to have to hit a 4-iron or learn to hit a draw with a 3-wood. But do not try to draw that club. You are a cutter. Do not try to draw that club ever. Ever.
I'm gonna walk away like a pouty child. No draws. Only fades.
I'm gonna hit one driver and then I'll be ready to go.
Yep, that's gonna be the end of this because you have to end on a good note, and it's gonna be a good note.
And I guess I'll just take you through my driver setup. I already know this tee height's right. I go a little bit. I go like 3/4 of the ball underneath the top line of the driver, just a little bit lower than like standard recommended tee height. Let my arms hang straight down. That's how I determine how far away from the ball I need to stand. I get that ball just on the inside of my left heel, and I know I'm in the right position if I feel like I'm too close to it, because I like to get a little reachy, a little bit of Jack Reacher. We got a little wind turning that left. It's okay. That'll work just fine.
He tells me, don't ever draw that club, and what does he do?
I had to draw. Yeah, look, I didn't try to. There's a little bit of wind up there. It's all good. But you know what it didn't do? It didn't hook, and that's nice.
We love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's make our way to the first tee, or 10th tee, 12th tee, whatever it is.
We're going to the 19th tee, actually.
Oh, so the same course.
Yeah.
Beautiful.